Hi, my name is Ariely. I'm the James B. Duke Professor of Behavioral Economics at Duke University, and I want to talk to you a little bit about behavioral economics and brands and what you might expect to get from this kind of combination. So for marketers, this economic recession is actually a really important point. It's an important point because it creates new challenges, but also creates tremendous opportunities. You know, the standard economics model of how people make decisions is very simple. You look at the cost and benefits. If the benefit is higher than the cost, you get it. If not, you don't. But what we find is that this is a very inaccurate model at describing how people do things. In fact, most of our decisions are much more habitual. We do tomorrow what we did yesterday and the next day and so on and so forth. We look back, we say, what have we done before? We assume what we've done before is wise and smart. After all, we wouldn't have done it if it wasn't that great. And we keep on behaving in the same way. Think about it. When do we stop habits? We stop habits at moments of crisis. In the day-to-day, we just go ahead and continue with our habits. But when something big happens, we stop and we think and we revise our habits. That's what happened with the recession. People stopped, took a second look, and changed their habits. Now, this, of course, is a huge challenge for marketers because you have this period in which people are going to reframe their habits. But there's also an opportunity because the habits that people are going to create now are probably going to escort them for a long time. So moments of change are actually very good. They're very dangerous because if people were buying your product and they reframe their habit and they're going to change, it's really bad. On the other hand, if you take this opportunity and you get people to reconsider what they were doing and they start buying your product, it could have long-term, very long-term benefits. Let me say a couple of words about behavioral economics. Behavioral economics is kind of a sub-discipline of economics that has basically a fight with economics. Rather than assuming that people are perfectly rational, we examine empirically how people behave. And it turns out that people don't behave according to economic theory, but more important, I think, to marketers, people often don't behave even according to how they think they would behave. For marketers, this means that if you rely on what people tell you that they're going to do in focus groups or surveys, for example, you're going to get things wrong because you're going to get what people think they're going to do, not necessarily what they're going to do. So what I'm hoping you could get from this marriage between behavioral economics and marketing are two things. First of all, to understand some real motives in human behavior, habits, difficulty of computing, opportunity cost of money, and a few others. But I also want you to think about how you go about doing research. How do you go about finding things with the argument that surveys and focus groups are only going to give you a reflection of what people already know or think they know, but it's not necessarily going to give you a lens into what actually motivates people. And in brand works, I'm going to talk a little bit about these topics. Cialdini is going to talk about related topics, and Andreas is going to talk about how do we think in this connected world with the internet and lots of data driving everybody, and also people being able to consult each other and the wisdom of crowds rather than be directed by information from companies. How do this intersects with those notions of framing messages, behavioral economics, and bad intuitions? And I'm sure it will be fun. I'm looking forward to it.